Hey everybody, this is Jerry from Vin Solutions, and I'm here today to give us a little video walkthrough of the Enterprise Performance Report. Just a couple reminders for you. As you make your way through, you'll probably notice at the bottom of the video there will be chapter markings. So if you need to find something specific in the video, it does make it a little easier to find that. Maybe you want to find out how to switch between a one level report and a two level report, or you want to see how to create a version. We'll try to make that as easy as possible for you. Enterprise Performance is one of a dozen or so reports in Vin Solutions that we call versionable. Versionable reports are very easy to identify. You'll notice two things are common characteristics of versionable reports. The new version button in the upper right hand corner, and we'll return and talk about that in a bit. And then the gear, sprocket, whatever you want to call it, which actually serves as the edit button for these. And that's really a common theme with versionable reports. It means they are editable, and Enterprise Performance is extremely editable. Matter of fact, we would say it is the Swiss Army knife of reporting. We've called it that before. Because it is so editable, there are literally almost no restrictions on what you're able to create from a reporting standpoint. And then, of course, versioning allows you to save a copy of that particular report. Maybe it's you're changing up time frames or it's changing certain metrics or so on. But that's really what the whole function of Enterprise Performance is. Um, I think we would say the performance management team that Enterprise Performance is probably the number one editable report in all of Vin Solutions just because of its high level of functionality. So what we'll try to do is walk you through this today, get you an overview of how to make edits to this, how to save a version, and some of the key things that you're able to do with Enterprise Performance. Quick note that at the top you do have the ability to save this as a favorite right from here by clicking on the heart, and then the I button is report information. So if you want to know what a certain metric means, description wise, that'll be here for you as well, and it'll open up into a new tab for you. Well, let's go to work on the back end and kind of talk about the edits here a little bit. So the first thing I want to kind of run you through is summary options. These are a big deal for us. What you'll see in the standard version when it opens is it has some metrics that are pre-selected. Matter of fact, it shows 31, and these are how metrics end up showing up on the page. We'll refer back to that more here in a minute. But the summary options give you the ability to perform groupings. You'll notice here that group number one is the dealer. You'll see the dealer's name, and the totals you see at the top would be based on that grouping. In this particular case, then lead type would be level 2. And of course, you'll notice in here, those are your lead types. You can do a 1 level, 2 level, 3 level report. I'm going to actually flip this to a single level as we make our way through, kind of talk through the data and things like that. Once you hit done, does all the changes for you. I didn't change anything else except for the level. Everything's here. We just don't see it basically until you ask it to see those levels. Going back again to the edits, some of the more commonly edited items, and we would certainly encourage you look through the drop downs. If you have questions, use the information screen to get more information or reach out to your performance management team, and we're always happy to help with that as well. You do have the ability to either include or exclude certain lead sources. If you come into the back end, you'll notice there are a number of lead sources in here. If you just wanted to pull a report for trade type situations or lead sources, you could do a control F and look for the word trade. And you can see there's actually 36 different ones that contain the word trade. So you could go through and check all those off, or maybe you want to exclude those. Pretty easy to get yourself there that way. Picking people, this is one of the reports that says here, if none are selected, all are included. It means it's looking at every single person in your dealership. If you wanted to narrow this down as an example, maybe we wanted to create a group report that contains BD agents and sales. Notice in here, the people are included based on how they're categorized in the back end and user settings. We'll pick those two teams as an example. As the user role, we say you get to choose what way that we go into the system and actually define those numbers. So maybe you want to build just a manager report, or you want to build one that's based on the BD agent role. Obviously, it might change or influence the user groups that you pick up here. So you kind of use those two in conjunction with each other. Time frames, literally every time frame you could possibly want. A lot of preset, pre-filtered time frames, and one at the very bottom. A custom date range allows you to go in and actually pick certain dates from a calendar. Rolling ones are nice. Maybe you can say, hey, I want to do a 60-day rolling report for these teams just to look at their metrics. So regardless of when you pulled this report, if you had a saved version, it would look back to the prior 60 days, which is really kind of a nice thing from here. Just remember, depending upon the report that you're doing, you may want to decide who is getting the count for the appointments. Is it the person that it's assigned to or the person it's created by? Those can be edited, of course. Location types on visits, going to default to everything, but maybe you just want to look at dealership appointments and things like that. Sold delivered is the default for sold status. In this case, we'll go ahead and put pending deals on here as well. But we'll talk a little bit about how to see those pending deals as you make your way through here. So I'm here. I've created a one-level report now. The other major thing you'll do with this one is you'll decide which metrics you want to see. You'll notice there are 150 available metrics. And to make a report, all you really do is have to click at least one box. And so you might want to run through and get a number of things. So maybe we want to grab leads and we want to see how many we've sold in a time frame, get a closing ratio on there, sold in time frame percentage. If you wanted to go into appointments as an example, how many appointments did you have that were scheduled? Again, these would be the ones that are assigned to, so the count would be based on that. Making our way on down, how many visits did we have in that time frame? And we'll continue to look at, obviously, these are things you're going to want to play with and look at. Communication section, how are we doing making outbound phone calls, sending emails, and sending outbound text messages? Things like tasks, are we getting our tasks completed? Are we dismissing tasks? Things like that. So for this example, we'll say, hey, we're going to grab 8 of these. I'm going to go ahead and hit the done button here. So the first thing you should notice is the numbers are going to change because we've gotten different metrics in here and so on, and we've selected a different number of people in there. And so the numbers you see are the totals for the dealership. Well, what if you want to get more granular? What if you want to see individual users and so on? So really then it just becomes about the groupings. Remember, we're set for a one level report with no level number 2. In this case, we could go down and grab our users and we will hit the done button again. And so what you'll notice in here is you're going to still get the totals because dealer is your first grouping. But now we've got a number of names, and these names, of course, would be based on the groups that you selected up front. But how can I look in here and see, as an example, which groupings these people are in? In this case, we've got BDRs and the BDC team mixed in with salespeople, and you might want to have them kind of more separated out from there. That's where a level 3 comes in nice. So we can literally come back in. We're going to change level 2 to see our user groups. And we'll go ahead and change level 3 to add our users back in. And once I get here, I can hit the done button. And so again, you still have your dealership summary at the top because that's your first grouping. Now I have a grouping for BDC. That's going to give me all of my totals across here, individual names as part of the BDC, the sales team, and so on. So you get your group totals, individual totals. You can see individual metrics for each person as you look and make your way through this. So these reports are very, very helpful for key metrics tracking, and that's why we really do love the Enterprise Performance Report. Feel like it's a really great report for you to be able to get those key metrics that you want. Now, don't forget, everything that's blue in VinSolutions is drill through capable. So if I click on any number on here that's colored blue, Maybe I want to see these 21 appointments from the BDC. I can pop that open. Those will drill through and give me detailed information. And of course, customer's name's blue. I can drill through right to Michael's dashboard from here. So that's a really, really cool option. And you do have the ability as well to click on a user's name. This will take a little longer to load up, but what you're going to end up loading is you're going to load that user's coaching dashboard, which is really a cool thing. So you could use this as a springboard into your one-on-one sessions. The other thing you will notice is when that dashboard loads, all of the metrics that you put into the back end, like your time frame as an example, you got 60 days in here. Any of these things that you changed in the back end over here, those will eventually ultimately end up making their way into the drill through report as well. So notice your time frame here shows 9/7 through 11/6. Over here, 9/7 through 11/6, and you're in that user's dashboard. So pretty cool as far as the drill throughs go. Now you may want to get even more detailed on this. One of the things you can do is say, hey, I want to really look at my user groups first. I want to look at my users second, and then I'll actually want to look at my lead types from there. And so you're actually going to have the ability to see each user in this particular scenario, where you'll get detailed information on the individual user. They'll have a subtotal line for themselves, but underneath it, you'll see additional incremental information based on that particular lead type that's there. So if you're looking through, I can get this user's totals across the top, and then all the information underneath that make up those totals. We got 2,000 text messages, but you can literally see where or what lead type those particular texts came from in that scenario. So there are some really, really cool things you can do with this. If we went in, last thing I'll go ahead and show you guys, let's say we just did one for our sales team, and we're going to go and we're going to grab our users, and we'll do lead type second, and we'll go level 3, and we'll put this back to none. I'm going to go ahead and hit the done button. So like I mentioned before, we're going to get names and we're going to get their totals, but underneath we'll see for the individual lead types as well. So a lot of information in here, detailed information. Maybe you are more interested in seeing how your team is doing based on the lead type there. So we can keep this as a 2-level report. All we're going to do is flip level 1 and level 2 around. I'm going to go ahead and change this to lead type. We'll change this other one to user and hit our done button. So remember, this is going to be exactly the same information. It's just flipped around. So now I will see a category for imports, and imports, obviously, it might be a lead type you want to factor out altogether. But let's say we're going to do our internet numbers. I can see internets, my totals at the top, but then I can look at how each of those users perform. Who's my top closer in there? Who's sold the most units, and so on. Remember, of course, on the sold in the time frame, if you include those in your subtotals, you may have, or you might see in here, some units that are not showing as delivered, but they're showing in there as pending. So it just depends on what you want to see in the reports. But very, very easy to manipulate the data, get it all set up like you want. Now you'll notice this particular report, multiple pages over here. Some people would prefer to scroll down the page than to go through pages. One of the things you can set in the back end is just change your rows to the maximum amount. Go in, hit your done button. And now instead of having 4 or 5 pages worth of data, it's all going to show up on one page. And all I really have to do from here is just use my scroll bar. So now I can see all of my lead types. Hey, here's my internet, here's my phone, here's my walk-in, and so on. And my totals are all there ready to go. Lastly, and this is maybe the most important part of this whole thing, is if you create a report like this and you're noticing or you're getting yourself to the place where, hey, this has great data, I certainly don't want to come in and have to make these edits every time I open Enterprise Performance. We want to save ourselves a version. So you can come in here and you can say, hey, on the Enterprise Performance, I want to save this as my 60-day key metrics report for salespeople, right? And so whatever you title it, that's going to be your customized name on that report. Hit the apply button, give it a few seconds, it'll open in a new tab. By the way, sometimes you'll have your pop-up blocker turned on. Don't forget, if it doesn't open in a new tab, look for where it shows you in your browser, hey, you've got your pop-up blockers turned on. Now you'll notice in here, right now I see it says Enterprise Performance. I see the new version button. So it looks pretty much just like this. Continue to watch this in the middle. What will happen is it's going to pull that data across, including the new name you gave it. So here's the 60-day key metrics. Notice there is no version button. We can only create versions off of the source report. Once we've created a version, it's a standalone copy. Now we can go back and make edits to this. Those edits will automatically save. So I would go and say, hey, I'm going to add this to my favorites, and I'm ready to go. This thing's pretty much done. Now, when I go back into Insights, if I go to my favorites tab, we should end up seeing that report show up in our favorites. And of course, when you open it from here, that is going to automatically pull up however you saved it last. Now, if I went into this report and I went to the edit screen and I made a change or two, maybe I go in and I add another metric I want to add in there. Is something else from the list that's in here from this columns to show, hey, I'm coming down here, and what I'd really like to see is, as I make my way through, I want to see some stuff with my showroom visits. I want to come in and I want to see how are these salespeople doing as far as getting me manager TOs and desking deals. So I'm going to come in and put my 2 percentages in there. I'm going to go ahead and hit the done button. It will now add those 2 metrics, and it will auto save. Okay, so you don't have to go make a new version or anything like that. You can update your versions and you got yourself set up and you're ready to go. That's pretty much it, you guys. As I mentioned before, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to the performance management team. If you have questions about what a specific metric means or what it tracks, don't forget the information screen is a great resource for you there as well. We hope you found this video to be helpful and that you have great success using it. Thanks and have a great day.